The other heroes were no help. Having dismissed the lines, they did not notice any breaks. The other characters were no better. Sometimes, Flash Gordon said, the line seems to stretch across the universe. They provide the borders of existence. Flash widened his research. The lines look solid today, reported Nancy and Bart Simpson, who were secretly dating. I'm sure I've seen the gap, reported Kathy, flushed with the excitement of another day shopping and too distracted by fleas on her dog, Electra, for a long conversation. Little Abner, who was lounging at her retirement home despite his robust, youthful appearance, was morose but, pleased to have a visitor, more talkative. He was weary of sitting and doing nothing except playing chess with Daisy May and discussing theology with marrying Sam. One day, little Abner insisted there were no lines. On that rare day, he had glimpsed something beyond the horizon. His eyes glinted as though he had been granted a hint of an afterlife. It was beautiful, he said. I'm going there, Flash vowed. Why? Superman asked. You got all you want here, speed, adventure, cool outfit, and great friends. You don't worry about money, no girlfriends to rot your personality. I can come and go when I want. Lois is only a diversion. Visit Mom and Pop Kent or drop by to my secret cavern and see my real folks. They've been miniaturized, you know. Why hassle with something you don't know? Because I don't know, Flash countered. I guess I'm just looking for some reason for my existence. To do good, Green Hornet said. What else is there? I don't know, Flash admitted. It's safe here, Wonder Woman said. All the questions are answered. Are they the right questions, the right answers? Flash asked hesitantly. They are our answers, Inspector Gadget countered. Alone, Flash pressed on. Every day he checked the lines. Every day he looked for a split, an indication of an opening, a break. He had little time for adventure, leaving the calls for assistance to those more focused on such normal activities. He did help Superman once with a nest of international terrorists. His mind wasn't on the task, but the situation resolved itself quickly when he discarded the kryptonite that weakened Superman, and the big man was able to use his super breath to freeze the villains in place until proper authorities arrived. It was just a distraction. Everything was. He had almost given up hope. Each morning, under the glare of the sun, he would carefully scan the lines. He could have completed the task in a nanosecond, but deliberately chose the slow, careful route. Sometimes he ran in place while scanning, amusing himself by carving an ever-deepening rut into the soft soil and descending as he checked. The line extended right along with him. Then, abruptly, without a hint that something would be different, he found a white space in the line to his left. It was small, insignificant, as though an artist had failed to finish a connection. It might have even been an attempt at design, a variation on standard theme. It didn't matter. Flash saw it and stopped, something he rarely did. He felt his skin prickle. The hair on the back of his neck rose. He stepped closer, peering at the whiteness between the black lines. Was there room? Could he fit through such a narrow entrance? What lay beyond? Little Abner's description softened any foreboding. Still, there was the uneasiness from leaving someplace familiar to try something new. Yet he felt compelled to go, actually drawn to the escape. He could not stop himself, even if that thought had struck him. Instead, he hesitated no longer but raced forward and leaped into the breach. It was narrow, too narrow. His head and neck made it through, then his arms, one at a time. His chest was too big. He felt himself trapped half in and half out. The edges of the line dug into him on both sides. It was amazingly soft and yet firm, sort of like a cotton vise. He could not really feel it, but knew it was there. He strained. His strong arms pushed at the lines, which did not buckle under his weight. His great speed was of little use. His powerful legs hung in space behind him. He kicked uselessly. Once he shouted, but no one heard him. He looked vainly for anything on the horizon. All he could see was a white, flat surface, almost like paper. He could see none of the beauty that little Abner described. Yet he sensed something, a something so powerful, so overwhelming that he couldn't stop himself. He had to escape the lines. From his awkward position, he could twist and look behind him. The sight stunned him. He could see a series of panels, each with black lines around them, like prison walls. Even from his strange viewpoint, he could see an image of himself in each of the 4 panels. Even more bizarre, he could see other panels, all piled up one on top of each other. Superman inhabited the row above his. Kathy was housed above that. Flash could even see her, but she was talking to someone, and a bubble hovered over her head. The panels looked like floors in some kind of weird apartment house, all separated by the black lines and yet in parallel environments. Flash simply could not understand what he was looking at. He struggled, pushing, forcing his way inch by inch through the opening. Suddenly, he was free. Somehow, the lines had released him. He exploded into space and found himself falling only a few feet onto the flat, white surface. He landed softly and managed to stand upright. He knelt down. It was paper. He could see the edge. He walked gingerly towards it. He felt strange, slow. The idea that he may have slowed seeped into his mind. He grasped the edge of the paper and swung down. In that instant, everything changed. He landed on a sidewalk. The force jarred his legs. He was on a street. It was crowded with people, many of whom were carrying boxes and bags. All were dressed in coats and hats. An old man with an odd black hat and robe and long, curled sideburns with a full beard stopped to look at him. So did a young boy carrying a radio on his shoulder. His baggy pants had nearly fallen off, revealing his colorful underpants. A painfully thin woman with red-tinted hair and tight slacks, a cigarette, and a faux leopard skin coat gazed at him over her tinted glasses and raised her eyebrows. She sucked on her cigarette and frowned with disgust. Flash began to feel very strange. He started to run, expecting to escape easily. Instead, his speed was gone. He still ran, but at a slow, uneasy pace. His big muscles slowed him down even more. The stores remained visible, not blending into a blur as they would if he were at normal speed. The pavement hurt his feet. He began to gasp for breath. His ribs hurt. He darted in and around people, brushing against some, but seemingly lost in an endless stream of humanity. People moved aside to give him room, but he could see their hard stares, their fear. Their expressions made him cringe as he finally had to stop. He couldn't go any farther. The world's fastest man didn't have the strength to run anymore. "Hey, pal," someone called to him. Panting, bent over from the exertion, Flash glanced to the side. Superman, but it wasn't. The man had Superman's face and his height, but was fat. His stomach bulged past an overmatched belt and pushed through a shirt and undershirt to poke almost grotesquely into the open air. Going to a costume party. Flash managed a nod. "Come on in," the man said. "Get a coat, they're cheap. I'll save you a few bucks and you won't freeze." He stepped back into a small, dark store. Elmer's Used Clothing, the sign read. Flash felt the cold slowly spreading over him. He didn't recall ever feeling cold at home inside the lines. Now it was overwhelming, invading every pore. His muscles ached. He walked into the store. People gathered by the door and watched him. Rummaging through a rack of clothes, Elmer produced a tweed sports coat with one button missing and another dangling into space. "Just $10, he said. "You're a size 46, right?" "I don't know," Flash said, suddenly realizing he had never bought clothes before. He always had clothes. His red outfit was always clean. Then, too, he realized he had no money. Not a cent. It was never necessary. He never ate, never tipped, never spent a penny. He never had to. "I don't have any money on me," he said hesitantly. "Yeah, sure," Elmer coughed. He retrieved a half-burned cigar from a crowded ashtray and shoved it into his mouth. "Honest," said Flash, who had never had his word doubted in the past. He felt dirty. "Looking for a handout?" Elmer sneered. "No, You won't get jack from me," Elmer shouted, waving his arms. "Get outta here." He added a few more choice words, the kind Flash had never heard before but instantly knew what they meant.